Hello and welcome to another Grit and Grime basketball podcast. I'm your host, as always, David Sagoe, along with Thomas Arnal and Jose Garcia Vidal. I just decided
Hello.
to do it right this time.
Yes, well done.
We are sponsored by, as always, datingamericanwomen.com. They are our sponsors. They've been matching people for over 10 years, a database of over 30,000 members with advice and all sorts of beneficial things on their website to get you started, to help you along, and to help you have a successful relationship. If you're an American woman listening, there is also datebritishguys.com.
Ooh.
All the same criteria. Thank you.
Yes.
With that said,
Absolutely.
we begin with, again, sad news. We always keep the sad news to the beginning of the pod. Daunte Wright, father of one, with his girlfriend, was shot and killed on Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon. Supposedly an accidental, what do they call it? I forgot what they call it, but an accident. Accidental discharge, that's the one.
Oh. Yeah.
Accidental discharge from the officer who believed she was pulling out her taser. But we'll let the courts decide all of that. Condolences out to the family. And there are people online that are making things available for people to help him and his family, his young family. Only 20 years old, man. We report on it because it happened in Minnesota, about 10 miles from where the George Floyd trial, or he's not on trial, the Derek Chauvin trial is taking place. It happened in Brooklyn Center. And as a result of that, the Minnesota-Brooklyn Nets game that was meant to be on Monday night?
Yeah, Monday night. Yeah.
Has been delayed and might be played tonight.
Yeah.
Since the Nets are already in Minnesota. So we stay in Minnesota. They could potentially be being bought by a conglomerate, which is headed by the biggest name of which is A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, baseball player. It's an interesting one. Glenn Taylor's been trying to sell the T-Wolves for a long time. We've spoken before about how weird the structure is over there with no, is it no president or no GM?
There was no GM.
No GM, that's the one. And yeah, he's been trying to sell the team for a while, and it's a good thing that he's trying to sell the team because he's been doing a very bad job of running it and owning it. So hopefully this goes through and the new ownership is better than Tillman Fertitta. Any thoughts? Oh, and the other thing is they've said that they won't move the team if they are successful in buying it, which is important. Glenn Taylor said he won't sell it to anyone that's saying that they'll move the team either. Any thoughts, gentlemen? Any thoughts?
Well, it's a good business deal for Taylor because he bought it for $90 million and he's selling it for $1.5 billion. So nice little profit there.
90 million. Wow. Yeah. Put that in context. Like
that's
players are getting that.
That's in 94, yeah. That 1994. Okay, so you've got inflation and you've got how much money he spent on it.
It's insane.
It's still insane. It's a nice little thing. But I think it's nice for Alex Rodriguez, who's I think one of his ambition was to actually own a team in sports. Yeah. And if you're a Timberwolves fan, that must be a good feeling to see that somebody's or like your ownership is moving on and is ready to sell to somebody else who might be more appealing in terms of being an owner, maybe more appealing to players who maybe want to move there. I know that one of the issue with Minnesota is that the city and the weather is not the most appealing to most. It's not Miami.
Yeah.
It's actually the northmost NBA city. It's actually further north than Toronto.
Yeah, it's higher than Toronto. Yeah, it's quite fun.
There you go. Yeah, I agree with you actually, and I haven't thought of it from that point of view. That A-Rod is actually it's a cool owner, right? Even though he's probably not the main owner, because I think it's Mark Lore, the other guy, former Walmart CEO. He's probably the main man there, but it's cool to, you know, I think, you know, we were discussing before we started recording that he's a smart guy. He makes good investments. So he already said something right for the people of Minnesota, which is, I'm not going to move the team. Fantastic. And then, you know, probably bring in some new blood in, you know, in the management team that can possibly make positive changes for the team, because they have a lot of raw talent there. So why not? I mean, amazing. Yeah, good for him. You know, and Dave, you said he's back with J-Lo, so hey, amazing week, right?
Things are looking up. Things are looking up.
What have you done this week? Well, you know, support a team.
Support a team and get back with J-Lo.
what it reminds me of is it's not the same thing, obviously, but it's very similar to what Jay-Z did with the Nets. Where the Nets wasn't maybe the sexiest franchise back in the days, and they moved from New Jersey to Brooklyn. They got Jay-Z as a minority. What's the word? I can't remember. Owner.
Minority owner. Yeah.
Minority owner. So he brought that coolness, and he brought a lot of things. You know, he was shining a light on the franchise. Basically, it's like, look, now we're going to be the place to be. We're going to build this new arena. We're going to have new colors. We're going to have new uniforms. New logos, new everything, starts from scratch. It took a while, and they are getting there now. And I think it should be the same to be expected from the Wolves, which is, you know, move away from that very bad franchise record they've been getting now for the past few years. I think they're the worst team in US sports, I think, in terms of record and which like across the MLB, the NBA, MLS, NFL. So it's quite an achievement. It's quite nice.
Very difficult,
It's very difficult to achieve. But again, if you can change a lot of things, you can change mentality and reorganize, and, you know, maybe get a new, you know, fresh paint on top of the franchise and start afresh. You know, it could be a good thing for them. Could be a good thing. Depends how organized they will be.
And, you know, the good thing is that if the team doesn't work out, you know, and they don't do well for the next 5 years, you know, Mark Lore used to be CEO of Walmart, so they can just turn the stadium into a massive supermarket. Right?
I'm bored with this. Just go.
There you go. Hidden goal there, hidden objective.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. The only thing is, obviously, as I was saying, is that Minnesota might not be the sexiest place to move to as a player. Sure. It's not the easiest part to get to.
No, but it is a burgeoning, like I don't even know what to call it. It's become very diverse in the last 10 years.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's bad by any measures. I'm saying is that if you're always taking count the lifestyle. You know, that's why Miami always does well in recruiting free agents, right? It's what towns like LA and New York somehow always do well also. It's because you've got that lifestyle that goes with it.
And it's not one of those, and it will never be one of those, but it's the kind of place that could like become like a Toronto, like
exactly.
It's a city where people, you'd be surprised how much people enjoy living there.
It depends. It depends what you're looking for. But have you watched the Stefan Marbury document? On Netflix, the kid from Coney Island?
Kid from Coney Island.
And there's that one bit when he talks about Minnesota, and it's just like him just walking around, nobody bothering him, and he's just like fucking cold all the time, just wearing a coat and
and that's what I mean. It's not like that anymore. It's not like that. Of course,
anymore.
That was not barren.
20 odd years ago, you know.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, Dave just mentioned Toronto and what made Toronto sexy and everything. First of all, Vince Carter, because there's another documentary, by the way, The Carter Effect, that I'm sure you've seen, and Drake, right? Drake was this massive superstar that made people want to come to Toronto and was a great ambassador for it. So A-Rod can be something like that, right? So amazing, even better for the team. And like I said earlier, they have the talent. They have some future draft picks. They make some good decisions, and we can see this team getting better in the next couple of years.
Yeah. It's an exciting time to be up there. I wish them all the best. I think they should bring back KG in some capacity.
I think so. I think he should be involved.
Yeah.
As a mentor, I think as the face of the franchise.
Even if it's just like ambassadorial, like he doesn't have to necessarily be on the payroll or anything, but just have him come back, because the way Glenn Taylor treated him was horrible. Yes. So from Minnesota to where? Where do we go next? Let's go to Twitter. Where else?
Here we go.
Global.
Global.
So about a week ago, maybe a little more, Michael Rapaport posted some personal messages he had received from one Kevin James, Darren, Horatio Durant.
Yeah.
And
Horatio.
Yeah, I needed something in there. I needed something spicy in there. And the tweets were spicy too. A lot of threats thrown.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of homophobic language. I laugh not because homophobia is funny, but because like, I don't know, just being threatened by Durant, I would just be like,
Wait,
down. What? Really? Like you? I know he grew up rough and everything, but just you've earned over $250 million in your career.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna fight me on a street corner like you're saying you are. It's just not gonna happen. And if I'm Michael Rapaport and I'm 50?
Yeah.
Again, it's like I'm too old for this. Danny Glover.
That's exactly how I was thinking about. It's like and that's why I didn't look at it too much, because I was like, I read the DMs and I was like, oh God, KD, you're better than this. Like, you're not 10 anymore. What are you doing? And the thing is with KD, he's got this friendly face. Like, he's got this friendly demeanor about him. Like, I don't expect him to be like, like, ooh, you're hard. Ooh, come on in. I'm not, and his game is so smooth, like peanut butter. It's like, you don't expect him to be a rough guy that's gonna send you those DMs, to me, like, there's a disconnect between how he behaves on Twitter and how he looks like. And like, he's always quiet, he never talks too much. He's, and he's a great player.
Yeah.
So that's where it's weird. But then then he goes into it with Rapaport, which is like, if you've seen him with his Trump videos also, like, he goes in, but it's unfiltered and very
he's always
the word childish.
Been like that. Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, as soon as I started reading it, I was like, oh, okay, fine. It's like this, having two 10-year-olds going at it and saying dumb stuff. But also they should know better, though, because everything that is on the internet, anyone can leak those stuff.
Anybody can see.
Anybody can see. So it's like, come on, guys, you're better than this. But like you said, it was funny because of the people that were involved. The threats and all this, the language and everything they've used was absolutely out of, it's completely disgusting.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, you're like, you guys are old now. You should just don't,
Yeah. That was it.
Yeah, Michael Rapaport became a little bit more famous just because of that argument, and I mean, he probably said some other things that he didn't post as well. So it's a private conversation. In my opinion, it shouldn't have been posted. That doesn't mean that it should be said. The things that were said should have been said.
Absolutely.
But this is what famous people do, right? Because they don't really have a private life anymore, and this is just making your private things that probably you can control not controllable. So it's just letting people up, give you their opinions about your life and what you do. But I don't think these are like you said, Tom. These are not Durant's true colors. He's just got pissed, and he even said to Rapaport, like, tell he mentioned Charles Barkley, like, tell him to behave better. Like, I mean, come on. Yeah,
I got right? The direct quote right here. He told Rapaport to tell his baby daddy Chuck to be better at his job and frame the questions better.
I mean, we all know that Chuck doesn't make any sense when he ask questions. Like that whole crew, right? They just have fun. They don't really talk basketball. It's like what we're doing right now. We're just talking shit.
Yeah.
Not really, analyzing any games. That's what they do every day at TNT. So, hey, they're living the life. They're living the dream. So,
yeah.
Is that your audition for TNT? Call us. Fill in if anyone's going on holiday. We'll jump
the highlight reel. Oh man, yeah. He said he'd spit in his face. Yeah, he told him to come and meet him.
Come on.
He told him that his wife doesn't respect him.
It's like having two 12-year-olds. Now my dad's got a bigger knife than yours. He's gonna come and get you. It's like, come on. Do you actually believe that KD is such a hard man? Like, do you actually believe that? Do you think he's trying to put up this sort of character that he's I don't know. I can't pick. The thing is, I don't know him, so I can't picture him being like that.
No, I guess it's just I don't want to put words in his mouth or anything like that. Plenty of words come out of it. I think it's just one of those things where he was pissed off and just came for him and wanted to like really take his head off.
Yeah.
With whatever he said. He wanted to come out the gates, like really, really put him down, take him out, and like put it to bed type of thing. Yeah. Killing ants with sledgehammers, I like to call it.
That's what he said, yes.
Jay-Z quote.
Yeah, I've never seen KD mad on the court. Like I've only seen him once, and that was with Westbrook because Westbrook, made him mad when the first time they were playing against each other after KD moved to Golden State, right? And that coincidentally, Oklahoma won.
Blew them out.
And I think KD. So KD got blocked by Westbrook, and it was like that was awesome. But I've never seen, besides that time, I've never seen Durant mad on a game.
Well, you've seen him with the Warriors with Drummond.
Draymond, yeah.
Draymond Green. Oh, what I keep him Drummond. God.
Yeah, but that's teammate stuff, right? Like
yeah. True. It's slightly different, but it's still he got mad there. But I don't know. I can't.
Speaking about.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, speaking about people getting mad on the court, I have a joke for you.
Go on.
You want to hear it? Why did Ron Artest leave the game early? He wanted to beat the crowd.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Oh
wow.
Man.
On this, we can. That's all for tonight. I think we're done.
Drop the mic. Oh man! Shouts to I don't even know what his name is now.
I think it's back to Ron Artest. Yeah.
Is it Meta World Peace again? Is it changed again? Oh,
he did.
I think he went back.
He went back. Just goes back and forth between names. Hang on, let me Google that.
Player formerly known as Ron Artest.
And then, so after the tweets were released, KD tried to smooth over the situation. He said, "Me and Mike talk crazier than this on the regular, and today he's pissed. My bad, Mike. Damn." As if we always talk like this, and now you're getting angry over it. Michael Rapaport replied, "No, we don't, pussy. Don't ever threaten me again or speak on my wife ever. Bald head, rotten ass worm."
Oh, wow. Jesus Christ. I don't know, man. That's the only thing. It's just, it felt a little bit childish, and I don't know. It's like, I don't know what KD must have more like important business to attend to. Like, I don't know. I thought they had media day training and all that stuff, to how to handle social media and all that stuff. I don't know if that's part of it.
He's too big to care. And I think he's gotten to a point where he doesn't want to, like, after the whole Burners thing, he's just like, I'm just going to say what I want to say.
True.
Right.
Like, I'm just going to say it. Like, he knows he shouldn't. He knows it's a bad idea. It does come across as childish and stuff, but he's just going to say it, and he's too big to fail. Like, well, they're going to kick him out the league? Like, no, he's Kevin Durant.
He got to a point where you can basically do nothing almost.
Yeah, he can do nothing wrong. Yeah,
unless he comes out as a massive,
something
something completely horrible. Yeah, something ist, and then
Yeah.
of course you've got Grime too.
Something ist or something I'll. Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, the easy money sniper had his laser beam out. I don't know if you guys heard in the last few, was it yesterday? Shannon Sharp was quoted as saying something that KD said about LeBron, and KD said he didn't say it, but it was a hypothetical that was being set up by Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, it's out of context Twitter right there.
But Shannon Sharp said, if you want to discuss it, we can discuss it in private.
Dude, apparently he just blocked KD though.
Oh really?
I don't know if it was true, but I just saw somebody screenshot and sending it to KD, going, "Hey, look, you got blocked."
Like, I mean, so I would never be offended by getting blocked by anyone. So that's Twitter. Now we move over to Instagram. Making our rounds.
We're going around. Anything happen on Facebook before we go on Instagram?
Just racist.
It's all news, man.
Facebook is so 90s.
Yeah. So 2008.
Yeah.
So on Instagram, Paul Pierce had himself a hell of a time the other weekend.
Oh yeah.
He went live. He had some company over. I believe it was his son's birthday. And after his son went to bed, the party turned into an adult birthday. There was some entertainment. Monica wasn't there, but if she had come, if she was in LA at the time, she would have been able to make a lot of money, according to Paul Pierce.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys heard, but in the comments, there was one person who suspected to be Kevin Garnett's burner account who said "fuck Ray Allen" in capital letters while this was all going on. And
what's going on?
Oh my god.
And then ultimately in the morning, Paul Pierce just writes a message. No, he did tweet, I think, saying good morning. That's it. Just good morning.
Hangover tweet.
He was subsequently is it still a hangover if it's weed? He was subsequently fired from his job at ESPN. Likely because it's a Disney property and they like to keep things very, very child friendly over there.
Hey, it was child friendly. It was a kid's birthday party. Hey,
it was after dark, Tom. It was after dark.
I don't think it was after dark actually. How old is his kid? Because you said the party started when the kid went to bed, and it was still light, and it was like 6 p.m.
Let's assume maybe let's assume the kid's probably about 5 or 6, and that would make sense. Still daylight. So,
Hey man, I don't make the rules. And then what else happened? He might benefit from this because he's received some deals, some offers from some. I don't even want to call them adult websites because you can actually do anything on them. But OnlyFans and I think a couple of other companies have reached out to Paul Pierce about potentially doing a similar thing for real money with some exotic dancers and some basketball analysis.
Nice.
Yeah.
Coming for our jobs, guys.
Gosh. I mean, why, right? Why Instagram Live? Was this planned? Was this just shenanigans? Was it just being I don't know. But it's almost as if he planned it all. Like maybe OnlyFans president say, "Hey, do this. I guarantee you'll get fired.
Yeah.
So you can come work for me." Yeah.
Get out
Who
of the
knows?
contract.
It was a nice party after all. Apparently, like, they all had fun. all the guests had fun.
Yes,
which is important. The birthday boy apparently didn't even know what was going on. So
he had so much fun he went to bed. He was knocked out. Couldn't hear a thing.
We got a
Probably
big
because of
house.
secondhand smoking, man.
It's a big house. I'm sure Paul Pierce got a big house. Don't worry about it. It can be as noisy as you want.
Oh, I
You can't
bet.
Well, yeah, you can't hear things happening in the West Wing, in the East Wing. It's like there's a few miles separating.
One of the things that came out of this is that he gets 1.5 mil a year from ESPN.
It's not too bad. Not too bad. Not too
He
bad.
doesn't even work every day.
No,
Yeah.
I know.
It's so insane.
It's insane. But hey, yeah, but that's what we're saying, right? It's like he's I don't know. It's, if he's allowed to do that in a private time, and he can have a party and an after party, I guess, call it like that. And it's the same thing. I think what Jose was saying is that obviously it's why did you put it on Instagram Live? Like, what's the point of doing that live? Was he completely high and drunk, and then he went, "Hey, that could be fun." They share it with everyone. I don't know. I think the fact that it's a Disney-owned company makes it worse. And like, had it been for, I don't know, Fox or
fine.
any other
They would have
company,
encouraged
would have
it.
gone, "Yo, YOLO, man, do you?"
Make an advert out of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the next trailer for the show right there.
But,
You
but
got
I think Fox is owned by Disney anyway, so maybe not Fox. No?
No, they
Or-
bought parts of it. Yeah, okay, yeah. In a way, okay. Fox is the wrong
So
business to
you
go for.
can't really put it anywhere because Disney owns it. So they
No,
don't
they
own
didn't-
us
they-
yet. Not yet,
they didn't
because
buy it.
they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay.
Yeah, big bucks. Big bucks for this big operation here. We've got lots of people behind the scenes.
Yeah,
I want
it's
a
all
million.
because it's all because it's a Disney-owned corporation that he got let go. I mean, that was in his own private time. I think the fact that he did it on Instagram Live is what made it worse. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that was funny. It was harmless. Were they social distancing as well? Were they?
That's the thing. He got criticized because of that, right?
No
he
masks.
got criticized because he was partying, during COVID times and all that. Like, and I think that's why he got really criticized, not because he had exotic dancers at a
allowed.
6-year-old party.
He's allowed.
You have to put masks on your strippers, really. If you wanna have them over, you gotta mask up.
Well, if they've been tested, then it's all clean. It's all clear. No problems. No
Okay.
problems.
I don't want to say anything else.
Don't implicate yourself. All right. We forgot to say Kevin Durant was fined by the NBA. How much was it? 20 grand?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Well,
50.
so the equivalent of 20
50
for
grand.
us, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 50
That's the
grand.
most they can fine you as well, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. So we move from happy times to angry times. We've got more beef.
Oh God, it's
More
beef week.
beef. So Russell Westbrook had a stat line the other day. I can't remember the exact stat line. That would be too much basketball for this episode. But he has
Let's say
something like
35,
30
20 or
points,
something. Yeah.
20
Yeah,
assists,
14.
and something like 14 rebounds, something like that.
Yeah.
Who was he against? Anyone know who he was against?
Another team.
Not the Wizards.
We don't want to be too
And-
specific. Yeah.
And lots of people were like, ooh, a 30-20 triple double is incredible. Like, what a stat line. Yeah, Westbrook. Yeah. And Stephen A had a different reaction. He was saying that is all well and good, and we know Russell Westbrook can put up these gaudy, crazy numbers. He had 42 triple doubles in his MVP season, and on and on and on. But ultimately, right now, he should be about winning championships, and his Washington Wizards have a losing record in the East. He has an excellent backcourt teammate in Bradley Beal, and they should be focused on winning rather than putting up gaudy stats. To that gentleman, you say what?
I mean, if he is going to, like, yes, I agree with Stephen A that he can put up those numbers any night, and his team should win for them to have a more important meaning. But he still has to do those like that because him and so himself and Beast and they're the biggest stars in that team, and they need that from him. If he didn't put up those numbers, the Wizards have even a slimmer chance of winning, right? So you can't criticize the man. Sorry, he's not criticizing it. He's saying that it doesn't mean anything. And I disagree. It means a lot. He's playing his heart out, and the fact that they don't win is not his fault. Just because we don't win, I'm gonna pass the ball less so I don't get a triple double, so I don't get criticized. No, I'm gonna do whatever is needed to win, right? So I mean, I agree and disagree. Like, yes, for him it should be all about winning the championship right now, but he's not on a winning team. So what are you gonna expect to just don't play so I don't get good stats, right? If I play, I'm gonna put up good numbers because that's what my team needs, right? I mean, that's the way I see it.
I think Stephen A's argument also was that Westbrook's always had another, like a second, like he's always been in massive duos. Like he played with Harden twice, played with KD, he played with, who else has he got? Who was playing with?
Paul George.
Paul George. Like he's always been put in situations where allegedly you should, like, he's an MVP and he was a walking triple double. Like with a player like that, you should expect him to be in the finals more often. I think that was his point, or like going further deeper into the playoffs. I think that was his point, and I think that's where he got to the conclusion that his numbers are meaningless, is because they don't really translate into winning anything or progressing any deeper in the playoffs. And to that extent, I agree. It's just that. And that's why, when Westbrook was linked with the Knicks, I was like, I don't really know if that's a good, like, he would be great in terms of energy and like bringing a massive, like a big star name to the team. But like in terms of winning games, I don't really know if he can do it by himself. Like, and he's not being able to do it with another superstar. He's got no titles. So on that front, he's all right. He's right. But I don't know. I think the thing is that the evolution for Westbrook, if he says, if he changes his mind and say, actually, I really want a title, the next step for him is to create a super team somewhere. Yeah. But then Stephen A will go and bitch and say, well, freaking super teams.
Exactly.
And this is where sections of the media need to be careful, because when you say these things, that's what you're forcing people to do. You're forcing them to go somewhere where they can compete, and once there's already one super team, the only way to compete with that super team is to go and build another one.
It's an arms race, basically.
Yes.
You create that. And that's why I agree with Jose, is that exactly that. Like you can't bitch about Westbrook trying to get to put up a lot of big numbers everywhere and trying to get his triple doubles. He's trying to win the games. He's not trying to. I don't think Westbrook, he's not stat padding at all. I think he's trying to win, but it just doesn't really translate at the moment. Like maybe the Wizards need another big guy. They need somebody else. Maybe, there's a lot of teams that are just one player away. That it doesn't have to be a major player, but it can be somebody that brings something else. Maybe that's where they are. Maybe they're just one player away, or the coach needs to be changed or something like that. And then next season you'll look at them and they'll be fifth in the East, and there'll be a massive turnaround. Sometimes it's just that simple.
I mean, consistency. Bradley Beal's been out. I don't think he played that game where Westbrook got the triple double. He definitely hasn't played the last couple for them. And that's been the story of their season. They've had a ton of injuries, and they were really, really hit by COVID early on. Because there was the other side of the coin, wasn't it? When Westbrook was out and Beal was the only one there playing, putting up 50-point games and losing and all of that. And we were having the opposite argument, or the same argument, but the other way, where it's like, well, there's no point in putting up all these stats if you're not winning. And it's like, well, how are you supposed to win with this team around you?
What else are you supposed to do, right? Yeah. And if you go the other way, if you score less, then they're going to tell you, oh, well, what are you doing?
Yeah. Why didn't you do more?
Why didn't you do more? See, there's a lose-lose situation there.
Yeah, when they were analyzing it, they said, with Stephen A and his crew, they were talking about how the Wizards have the worst defense in the NBA. So you can't expect them to win, So, and then you see, like, defense is a 5-man game.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
maybe scoring, if you have like Steph scoring 53,
Mm.
you can win a game, right? But
Mm.
if 5 players are not defending, you need 4 of them at least to defend properly. So
Yeah.
there you go. Like if you have the worst defense in the NBA, you're never going to win. So for him to say it doesn't mean anything, it means so much for the Wizards right now.
Mm.
Without him, they would be blown out every single game,
Yeah.
right? So and yes, they have lost a couple of games by large margins, but a few of them as well have been very close with big teams. So, and that's because Westbrook is on the court.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So he responded. One of the things that he said was, "I became a champion as soon as I joined the NBA," and that is a statement that that will resonate particularly with people from poor backgrounds. He grew up in Long Beach, California, and for him to make it out of his hood, out of his neighborhood, would have meant a lot to him, his family, his loved ones, and everyone in that area as well, because you become an example to all of those people that, someone other than Snoop Dogg can make it out of Long Beach.
Yeah.
And then he followed up by saying, "One thing I won't allow to happen anymore is let people create narratives and constantly just talk shit for no reason about me, because I lay it on the line every night and I use my platform to be able to help people all across the world." And Stephen A then said that he doesn't have anything against Westbrook, the man. Like he's very aware that Westbrook, the person, is one of the best people in the NBA. His teammates always love him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he always does a lot for the community. And he's a very loving family man. So he wanted to sort of make that distinction. And then he decided to sort of double down on what he had originally said, and said, like, why hasn't Westbrook progressed as a shooter? Like it's great being able to go out there and put up these gaudy numbers, but if you can go from being a 6 assist guy to a 20 assist guy, and you can go from being a 4 rebound guy to a 14 rebound guy, and go from being a 12-point scorer to a 30-point scorer, why can't you go from being a 28% shooter to a 35% shooter?
I don't know. You know what? There's a lot of things that are getting mixed up, I think, in that discussion between the two of them. It's like there's the personal life, there's a personal accomplishment, and there's the and what you deem to be successful, like on a personal level, and then there's what's the public recognition of your work. I don't know. There's a lot of things that's getting mixed up in there. I think Stephen A is like, what I agree with Stephen A is like, the type of player, and like he's not improved on certain areas. Fine, that's fair enough. The fact that he's not won anything, that's also fair enough. That's not something you can argue against, because he's not won a title. But then it also depends on what, it's funny because KD said the same this week. It's like, yeah, I want a title. And it's not like, now do I want to concentrate on other things, like on personal development and being the best person I can be and be the best player I can be. It doesn't have to be a title anymore. And that's why maybe also Westbrook is on the same page in terms of what they expect from the rest of their career. So I don't know. I think everything is a bit mixed up in there. It's like, I think Westbrook is talking about, what I do is like, I give everything. It doesn't have to translate into a title. And then what Stephen A is talking about is like, well, yeah, what you're doing on the court is good. It could be better, and it should have translated into a title already. But again, not everybody wins a title. And exactly. Who said that? There's a lot of players that won titles that had nothing. They're just on the bench. Like, so just have to winning a title doesn't define you, and it doesn't define who you are as a player and as a human being. So that's why it's I feel it gets a bit mixed, and the whole conversation is a bit there. Yeah,
and also not winning a title shouldn't define you either. I think that as fans, as analysts, we are so demanding of our players, and Stephen A, he's showing that he unfairly that he wants Westbrook to win a championship, and that can be narrative, sure, but for him to say that why his shot isn't better. Why haven't you improved shot? Because he doesn't need to. He's so good at everything else he does on the court. Now, if you demand a player, let's say we have a role player, right? If a role player is only good at one or two things, they need to excel at that, right?
Yeah.
So let's think Kyle Korver, for example. The only thing that guy does is shoot 3-pointers, and he does it really well. Every year he's played, he got better until he started getting older, whatever, right? But he still puts up good numbers. So if you have a player like Kyle Korver, and at the end of the season, you say, why didn't he get better at shooting? Because that's the only thing they do. They should have, right? Or why didn't you improve on your free throw shooting, as every player should probably? But for him to ask that from Westbrook, like, come on, man, he's averaging a triple-double, and you want him to shoot better. What? No, just keep doing what you're doing. I'll put players around you so you can get better, or we can win. But that's just being like, we have to make a difference there. Like, just don't criticize that. That's right. Like, it's you don't need him to be a better shooter. Lonzo Ball could be a better shooter. He will become such a better player, for example, right? But not Westbrook. Westbrook, just leave him alone.
I think, and that's the thing, that I'm not the biggest Westbrook fan, to be honest. Like, I'm okay with not having him on my team, but you can't fault him for being who he is. It's like the dude always gives 100%. I mean, like, what else do you demand from your players? And like, I agree with you. It's like, he's not a 3-point shooter at all. That's not what he does. He's a guy that goes to the basket and gets fouls and gets dunks and gets highlights, and then I don't know. I think he's picked up the argument about why he's a better shooter is a bit. That's not a good one to pick. It's not something you should pick on when it comes to Westbrook. Like, if you tell me you're somebody who's a sharpshooter and is not, or somebody like you said, somebody who's supposed to be a 3-point shooter and these numbers stay the same, or this regrets a little bit, it's like, well, that's your specialty. Like, Westbrook's specialty is to bring energy and bring passion and score and do everything well. Like, he's the ultimate all-arounder, if you will. But I don't know. It's just I think it's a bit all mixed up. There's a discussion there that it's a bit weird, and the narrative also is a bit. And that's why I actually like from Westbrook when he said, "Look, you guys are creating a narrative around me. Like, that's not my narrative. Like, it's not like you like, it's almost like they're projecting on him. If you got your, I'm sure every single professional like NBA player's got the same goal, which is, the ones that are supposed to be stars, they all have the same goals, which is, I want to get my titles. Some players just want to be in the NBA, just want to sit on the bench and they're completely happy with it. But like, you can't go and tell players what they want. Some of them are perfectly happy with having a career playing 10 years, half an hour on the court, and put up 25, and that's it. Happy with that. I've done my thing. I've done my money. I've got my cash. I'm out. Some of them, they just want to win everything. It's like, it's just weird to have somebody trying to decide what it is for you.
We had a couple of good examples of those things. Bradley Beal himself is someone that looks at Dirk's ring and says he would much rather win one like Dirk or not win one at all. Damian Lillard is another person. We always talk about his loyalty, but he's someone that has come out and specifically said, like, winning a championship isn't everything. Like, he's set up his family to be wealthy for generations to come with his contract in Portland. He does a lot for the city, and he's happy to do that. He would like to win a championship in Portland. He's not interested in going somewhere else to try and win one. And then who was the other person I was going to bring up? Blah, blah, blah. Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal, projecting. Part of me wonders if. Sorry. Before I get to that, it kind of feels like we should leave Ben Simmons alone, right?
Why? Why?
If he shouldn't develop a shot, why should? Yeah. Why should?
No, I think
if Westbrook shouldn't. Why should he?
Because you know what? The proportion of Ben Simmons' inability to take a three, I think it's more of a meme right now. It's more of an internet meme. It's more like You know, it's if he's not going to take a 3 ever, then fine. He's excellent at other things like defending and passing the ball. So it's like, it's fine. We just take the piss at Mike. It's just funny.
Hi, Mike.
Yeah, man. Now I've forgotten what the other thing was. Westbrook.
Something about another player not wanting to win a game, a title,
championship.
A championship.
Yeah, no one wants to win rings. Screw that. I mean, this isn't what I was gonna say, but after KD won the title, like you said, he was like, "Oh, is that it?" Like he thought he would feel like super magical, like he was happy. He was really happy, but like life goes on. You wake up the next day, you still have to pay your bills. You still have to live your life. Like everything continues. So like if you do make it like your life's goal to do this one thing and then you get it and it's not what you thought it was, that can also have a profound effect on you. It'll make you send crazy DMs to Michael Rapaport.
Maybe that's what happened. Maybe he thought he tasted the finest of the finest with that title, and then he went, "I'm not getting any stimulation from it. I'm just gonna go off on Twitter." Just
yeah. Part of me wonders if Stephen A actually wanted to take it further, but didn't really want to pull the trigger and say that.
Yeah.
And say that Westbrook can't win a title.
I think he backed off a little bit when Russell Westbrook's wife got involved. He was like, "All right, like same as Shaq, same thing Shaq did when he was speaking on JaVale McGee and mom got involved." He was like, "All right, right, that's fine," and that's fair enough. He should. That's fine. Just leave it there, I personally think that Westbrook has very little chances of winning a title unless he goes to a super team, which I don't think he will.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I was going to talk about. Vince Carter. Vince Carter is someone who played his career, like Tom said, averaged 25 points a game. Dogged it a little bit in Toronto, went to the Nets, put up numbers there. Went to Dallas, never ended up winning a ring, but he enjoyed his career. He never ring chased, and he's thought of fondly as a really, really good player who
Hall of Famer
won one. I think the number of points he scored and the length of his career makes him a shoo-in.
He played 4 decades, 4 different decades, right? He's the only one who ever did that. So I mean, his dunks, like he's iconic. Like I think he should be a Hall of Famer. Yeah, he changed the game for. He brought in a new market for the NBA. They should just do it because of that. The whole Canadian, all the country was rooting for Toronto when he was there. So.
I mean, the Grizzlies failed, right? Initially when they were in Vancouver.
Grizzlies,
yeah.
He's changed the game with the dunk contest as well. Like he brought a whole bunch of stuff thanks to that. So why not? But I think what Vince was saying at the end of his career, that he really enjoyed being a mentor to the young players as well. So again, that's finding joys and finding purpose with different things. Like you're not going to win a title. Maybe not do you know it, but you think your chances are not as great as they used to be, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to concentrate on other things, and that can be maybe even more rewarding. That's what KD might find later on. He might join a smaller team or something with like he's coming off the bench, playing 10 minutes, and he'll be enjoying taking care of the younger guys on the team. It's possible.
Yeah, and there are some other examples from on the other, spectrum of the topic that we're talking about. Do you remember that in 13, Tracy McGrady played for the Spurs?
I do.
Yeah.
That was just that was sad, man. Like I remember seeing him going, in garbage time, just going into the game with 2 minutes left, the Spurs up by 20 or down by 30. Oh man, he was one of the best. And then just seeing him just trying to win a title like that, that's where you can go wrong as well, right?
True.
And it's funny because he actually had the opposite reaction to we spoke about Elgin Baylor. He got injured actually a lot sooner than I thought he did. I don't think he even really played that season, which is why he didn't want a ring. But T-Mac, when he talks about 2013 in the finals, when they were rolling out the champ, like they were bringing out the ropes for the championship with the Spurs up 5.
Oh god.
We didn't have to talk about this. I was just talking about Tracy McGrady.
Free throws, baby, free throws. Ginobili, your boy, and Kawhi both missed free throws. Yeah, they're literally ready to wheel out the championship. And he's excited on the bench. He's not sitting there going, I've only been here a few weeks. Like, he was like, yeah, I'm about to win a championship. Finally about to get that ring, baby. So, like we said, different people have different goals, respond to things differently. And he would have been happy with that. There's other players who wouldn't have been. There's the whole story of Matt Barnes not picking up his rings, but that was supposedly a completely different story. Yeah. He should be able to do what he wants and live how he wants. And that's the one thing you can't criticize about Russell Westbrook. He always gives his all and always has.
Yeah.
100%.
So one quick one before we go. Drew Holiday is newly minted. Was it 4 years?
4 years, 100 and something.
120 million? Or is it 160 million?
I think it's 100. No, hang on.
40 a year?
Hang on. Drew Holiday. I know we should prepare with the facts before we get on, but hey.
Nothing but facts.
Nothing but facts. I think this one, 4 years, 160
yeah. 40 mil a year. Light work for a rather injury-prone 30-year-old. Reminds me a lot of the Chris Paul contract. But Chris Paul has actually done some great things with that contract, and hopefully Drew Holiday does too. But the reason we bring it up, guys, is because I don't know if you saw it, but Giannis Antetokounmpo had an Instagram post where he, I don't know if it was live or if it was just a post. He was walking up the court and he was like, we're going to see something amazing. We're going to see, look, I'm going to show you something. And he walks over to Drew Holiday, who's putting shots up. And he's like, this guy is making all the money now. And Drew turns around like, what? You talking to me about my contract? What about your contract? Biggest contract in NBA history.
Exactly.
And you're here to talk to me. And man, it is just crazy to think how much money they're pouring into that team in Milwaukee to keep it together.
Well, oh boy. Yeah, they're trying to be win now, trying to sign some big players and appear bigger than they are. And it's like, I hope it doesn't backfire though.
Because it really could.
Yeah, they could have those big ass contracts they'd never be able to get rid of, and start the downward spiral. Oh,
yeah.
Oh god,
crazy.
As a Knicks fan, we've been there. I know how it feels.
Or was it Jerome James?
Sometimes.
Jerome James
getting that money. Eddie Curry.
Yeah, they all have one thing in common. They were super thin when they got that contract, and they ended up double figures in many ways.
Pizza joints in Manhattan, man.
Oh my god!
There's some rich pizza. No, was it hot dog guys in New York?
There's a very nice burger restaurant right across the street from Madison Square Garden. So there you go.
The owner is a billionaire now. James. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, and then Jamal Murray has torn his ACL. We talked about the Nuggets a fair bit last week. It's a shame they won't get to see that core four in the playoffs this year. Next year's another year. Hopefully he's not out a whole year, but we wish him a full recovery. And the West just got that little bit more interesting because I think they were definitely contenders.
Yeah, they were coming up. Hey, that's reshuffling a little bit now with that.
Should be interesting to see. All right, we wrap things up there. Thank you for listening. Remember to like, share, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast wherever you listen to it, preferably on Apple Podcasts. 5-star rating. If not 5 stars, then just message us and say why not. Just keep your rating and hit us up and be like, yo, if you change this, it would be 5 stars.
We'll change it.
Quick, fast.
I swear next week we'll talk basketball.
Yeah, we promise.
Promise. If they stay away from, if every single NBA player just keeps away from social media, we will.
Yeah. Be like Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So from me, David Sagoe, from Thomas Arnal.
Yes. Good night.
And from Jose Garcia Vidal.
Adios.
We're out of here.